Hi everyone, and welcome to DocuSign and document management training. We're extremely excited to get this system rolled out to you all, and we know it's going to be so beneficial for both you, your residents, and your customers. So let's get started. We're going to talk on several different things today. We're going to talk about what is DocuSign and what's document management, and is there really a difference? We're going to go through the benefits of utilizing DocuSign and document management. We're going to talk about the usability. So how does this benefit us? How does the process really work from point A to point B? We're going to go through a brief snapshot of the workflow process, and in a later training, I'm going to go through that with you all in detail. We're going to talk about overcoming resident objections. So with any type of electronic or uncomfortable or foreign type of signing a legal document, we may get some pushback or some concerns from our residents. So we'll talk through how we can explain the benefits to them. We're going to talk through some frequently asked questions. So these have come up from a lot of different team members throughout the process of developing this training, and it's going to be great to share with the rest of you. We're going to go through some best practices to round out today's training, and then we're going to talk through some resources and support and feedback and where you can provide that. So really, what is DocuSign and what is document management? So as it says here, DocuSign and document management is a system that will guide your customers through their lease agreement signing experience by placing sign here tags and fields that show precisely where to sign, initial, and add information. This will allow our residents to sign their move-in, move-out paperwork, and renewal paperwork from the comfort of their own home. Or if they're out of the state or out of the country, they can sign remotely if they have the correct app on their phone. How great is that? So let's go through some additional benefits. It enhances our customer service. We know that within Carmel, our foundation is to provide exceptional customer service. And this is another great opportunity for us to do so. By allowing our customers a different avenue of signing their lease agreements, we're able to save them time, energy, and a trip to the office. It makes the lease signing process quick and painless. What more is there to say? There's less stress on move-in day. We all know, either by moving ourselves or from walking our residents through move-ins, that it can be a really stressful day. We've got movers waiting, sometimes family members, people are on time crunches, and the last thing that they want to do is sit with us for 45 minutes while we sign their lease agreement. And let's be real, are they really paying attention as we're going through that lease agreement while their friends are waiting ultimately for the pizza? Probably not. It's time effective. This is something that our residents and customers can do from the comfort of their own home. So if they have a question, they can pick up the phone and call us or shoot us an email, but we're on their time by sending them an electronic form. Think green, be green. This is a Carmel motto. So with that in mind, how great is it to be able to provide a paperless process with our residents and customers? We send all the documents virtually so that we can ensure that we're saving on some of the paper we use in our communities. Your lease templates and packets will be backed up in one general area. So there can be some confusion, especially when we have new team members, of what's the right lease packet, where is it harbored, are we using the right lease packet? And with all this information within the system, we're ensured that we're using the right documents every time. You and your residents can sign at any time from anywhere. In a little bit, I'm going to talk about the app, DocuSign Inc., that our residents can utilize so they can sign from a telephone or a mobile device if they need to. These documents merge with the majority of information you put into MRI. With that being said, as long as from the very beginning we're entering all the information we need for our residents accurately, by the time we get ready to set up the lease, it'll be available to us immediately. Only little things that may not integrate into DocuSign will we need to actually manually type in. So it's going to save us a lot of time as well. So how does it work? let's go through a brief process. When you're in document management, which is the system harbored in our Carmel Partners intranet, you're able to set up and manage your lease documents from start to finish. Any team member will have access to do so. So as it shows here, you'll be able to send, sign, and manage your documents all in one place. So imagine the possibilities. All forms that need to be sent to your residents, whether that's a move-in, move-out packet, maybe it's a renewal packet, are already located in document management. It's just a matter of selecting the packet that you want to set up whenever it's time. There are pre-made email templates and subject lines that will be within document management to make your lives easier. So when using this type of an e-signature system, there's a lot of communication that needs to take place for it to go smoothly. So you will be able to see when it's time for you to sign, when your residents are signing, it'll show up on that home page as we talked about, and they will get an email that it's ready for them to sign. So that communication is happening automatically. You'll be able to also track what stage of the lease is in by looking at that home page. So as I just stated, you can see every packet that you've put together or a team member has put together to see what stage of signing it's in. Maybe it's gone to the primary resident and now it's with the co-resident and we're waiting on a signature for them. This is a great opportunity if we notice that somebody has had it for a while to give them a call and see if they have any questions about what they're signing. So here's an example of the workflow process and how it works behind the scenes. So as you can see, I'm at the very top of this whole setup, meaning I am the owner of this lease packet. So I put in place who is going to sign it and when they'll be signing it. So it starts with me just because I send it out. Then it's going to Judy and Jamie Benson at the same time. You can set up your workflow this way, or you can send it to Judy first and then Jamie. It's really up to you if you'd rather it go to roommates or co-signers separate or together. It then comes back to me as the leasing associate so that I can sign the appropriate documents. Once I signed, it's going to go to the manager, which in this case is William Tester on our screen here. So once that's done, the signing has been completed. How easy! This is just an example of the home screen within Carmel Plus or CAP if you're at a student housing community. So this shows all the packets that have gone out under Packets Out for Signature, and my packets show the ones that I myself have put together and sent out for signature. There it is, the That Was Easy button. I wish I had one right here with me. But truly, this whole system is designed to make your lives and your resident lives much easier. So now that we've talked about the system and generally speaking how it will work, let's go through what to do if we have resident objections and talk about some frequently asked questions. So in presenting DocuSign and document management to our residents, we should proactively be stating that it's the only option. Just by stating, we'll be sending your lease to you through email so that you can electronically sign it and send it back to us. This makes the process quick and easy for you. Again, it's just explaining the benefits to them of how simple this process will be rather than having them come back and forth to the office. If our residents still say that they want to sign a paper version, we're more than happy to accommodate that. However, we should still try to give them some benefits to signing electronically. It is our goal to make your lease signing process as quick and easy as possible. By completing this digitally, you're able to sign from anywhere at any time. If you do choose to sign a paper version, we're happy to do that with you. We will need to set an appointment as our lease signing process in the office takes about 45 minutes. As we'll see in the next slides with the frequently asked questions, we can also state here that if they're not in the office with us, we would need notarized signatures, and that can be really time consuming. So let's go through some frequently asked questions that have come up along the way. So what is document management versus DocuSign? I bet you've been wondering throughout this training, is there a difference or is it the same thing? So it's two different systems that integrate together to make this process work smoothly. Document management will be the system in our Carmel intranet where you'll go to set up the lease and get the paperwork ready to be sent out for signature. DocuSign is a third-party system that we'll utilize to sign and harbor those documents. What if a resident states they didn't sign their lease agreement? So this may happen along the course of time where somebody tells us, I didn't sign that lease, or it never came to me, that can't be my signature. What we have available to us with using our third-party system DocuSign is called a certificate. That certificate will show which computer even that person signed that lease from, and it's our proof that that signature is truly theirs. What should we say if a resident doesn't want to sign through document management? So we've covered this in the previous slides. So again, just be explaining the benefits of document management and DocuSign, that it's going to be a quicker, smoother process for them, and it eliminates them having to make trips to the office with us. Will there be a time when our residents can't view their document? That's a great question because we know our residents have the right to and often want a copy of what they've signed. At the end of their lease signing process, there will be a message sent from DocuSign that asks our residents if they would like to set up a DocuSign account so that they have access to their documents at any time, have it emailed to them, or print a copy. A lot of times our residents are going so quickly, and even us when we're doing anything online, so remind them that that step will be prompted to them so that they pick the option that best works for them. If they don't and they miss that step, we're always able to retrieve those documents and provide them a copy at any time. If a resident doesn't require an addendum, can we remove it? You're going to see in a later training how this whole setup process works. But when you choose the appropriate packet to set up, you'll be asked if you want to include or exclude any of the documents. So if there is an addendum that doesn't need to be sent to this particular resident, you'll be able to exclude it. Are there mobile apps for DocuSign? There are. It's called DocuSign Inc. And that app allows our residents to download that to an Android, iPhone, or Windows device so that they can sign their lease documents from a mobile. If the lease preparer has to be out of the office unexpectedly, are we able to switch the team member that signs the lease? Well, if the preparer of that lease packet originally sets it up for it to come back to them, it will be set up that way, but there is a way to change that. Please just contact your project management and performance team members so that we can walk you through that. If you happen to know a team member is going to be going on vacation at any given time, that person can still set up the lease, but choose somebody else to be the signer on their behalf. What if there's a mistake and we need to have them sign a corrected lease? That's more than okay. We're bound to make mistakes, especially when it comes to this detailed paperwork. There will be an option, as long as the packet is in process, to void the packet and send a new one. And there will be communication needed to be sent to your residents. If the lease has been completed, we aren't able to void it at that moment, but we can send them a new lease document for them to sign the corrected one. Let's go through some document management best practices now that we've covered all that information. Explain the electronic consent form to your resident or customer. This will be one of the first documents that they'll be presented when signing their lease electronically. It's letting them know that they're entering a legally binding contract with us electronically. Explain the consumer disclosure. This will cover the information in the electronic consent form as well as additional information on their rights when signing a lease electronically with us. Encourage your residents to read their lease agreement thoroughly. Without having them in front of us, we're not able to go through the lease document with them in detail like we're used to. So really encourage them to read the lease as much as they can and let us know if they have any questions. Always proactively encourage using DocuSign. We've talked about this a lot, but explain the benefits to your residents of using this system. Let your residents know that they will have the option to email their lease to themselves, or we are happy to provide it to them in the case that they didn't email it to themselves or set up an account in time. They only have 120 days to set up their own DocuSign account. Always print the lease summary and the DocuSign certificate to put in your files. So those two pieces of information will be extremely important to go in the lease file in your offices. The lease summary is going to be a presented paper that really highlights key items from the contract. It's going to talk about things like when rent is due, what our correct notice to vacate time frame is, and that we ask our residents, their guests, and occupants to abide by our community policies. So it's a one-page form that they can put on a fridge if they need to with some general reminders. Create a DocuSign folder in your email or even on your desktop to keep track of the email communication that you receive for your residents. So there are bound to be questions. So if you talk about anything or discuss about anything through email through this process, make sure you harbor that in a safe place. Well, thank you all so much for joining me throughout today's training. We really do value your feedback. So if you have any concerns or feedback while utilizing the system, please contact your project management and performance team member. If you have any technical difficulties, you're more than welcome to contact our friendly support systems team. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi everyone, this is Jenny Bierling, and I'm going to be walking you all through a step-by-step process of document management through CAP on our intranet. This video will serve as an instructional video just in the event you have a new team member that starts and you want them getting this information immediately and your regional project and performance team member isn't able to get there as soon as possible, or in the event you just need a refresher, this video will always be available to you on the intranet. So we'll go ahead and get started. Right now, as you all know, I'm on the home screen of the Carmel intranet for the login. So to access document management, you would go through CAP, which I know you all are very familiar with at this point. So let's go ahead and log in. Great, so once in, you're on the intranet home screen. From here, we'll go under Community and we'll go to the Carmel Academic Portal. Now that we're through the portal and we're logged in, this is the home screen that you all have been used to seeing. Now with document management starting, this screen is going to be changing. So I'm going to walk us through the home screen here, and then I'm going to get into the process of setting up both a move-in packet and a renewal packet so that you have an example of both. They are done exactly the same, but it's nice to have them both to see a visual. So on our home screen right here, we have Open, Waiting on Carmel, and Recently Completed. So in a perfect world, once you all get started in your leasing seasons and once you have your residents getting ready for renewal, you're going to have a lot of packets out for signature, and those packets are going to be any renewal move-in packet that anybody on the team has put together. If you're looking at my packets and you're seeing that you have packets listed under there, that's because you either set up a packet or it's sitting there for you to sign. Now, those packets actually won't clear even after you've signed until every single person that's been assigned to that packet signs. It will stay on this home page. Once that task has been completed by every person, it'll go into Recently Completed. Open, of course, are any packets open waiting for the process to start. Waiting on Carmel is any packets that are waiting on our signatures. We also have a document dashboard that I want to just go into with you all. So within this dashboard is where all of our packets will be harbored. So we have access to all of them at any time. I'm going to show you how you can also get into these through a resident's profile screen as well. But you can search, you can look by a packet type. So right now we've got our move-in packet and renewal packet set up in there. We've got packet type down here, so you can search by all, or you can actually search by more specific. Status is going to allow you to look by completed, not complete, maybe there was a voided one. You can search by a different type and status that a packet is in. And then of course you have your search date ranges here. So once you have selected everything that you want to search by, you'd hit refresh and it would pull the particular packets through the categories that you've selected. Anytime we want to get back to the home screen, we can click on the cap at the top left here. So now that I'm back at the home screen, I'm going to actually set up a move-in packet. I've brought my good friends Julie Andrews, i.e. Maria from Sound of Music, and Captain Von Trapp. So the first step for those of you that are getting familiar with CAP is that you're going to have a community name at the top right here. When I'm getting in here, I'm going to be using our test community, but of course just make sure your community is represented. For those of you that are within a community that has multiple names, make sure you're looking and searching through the right community. So I have brought my residents, Julie Andrews, i.e. Maria from Sound of Music, and her good friend, Captain Von Trapp. So I'm going to go ahead and get their move-in packet set up for them. They're really excited to move in. So we can type in, I think all of you at this point have seen that you can type in a part of a word, you can type in a letter, and it will default to an all setting, and you can select search, and it will pull up any names associated. For my purpose, Julie is our only Julie in here, so she came right on up. We'll go ahead and click on Julie's name, and that will take us into her guest card. So the main item to double check as you're getting ready to set up a packet is just review that everything that you need to be filled in this screen is filled in. So I filled in some information to get us through the process, but just make sure that every required section for your community specifically is filled in, because how document management works is it's going to pull everything from CAP, which of course goes into MRI, to create the documents. So we want to make sure spelling of names is correct. We want to ensure that emails are correct, because that's where the packets are going to go to for signing. So a best practice with that is just to ask your resident, is this the email that you want your lease packet to go to for you to sign? So that's the first step. Just double check, because if there's anything that needs to be changed or updated, we do want you to be doing that here in the profile screen. So once I have determined that everything is in there that needs to be for my community, I'm going to go ahead and go into document management. So on this screen, we see that there's a new packet icon here. We're going to go ahead and just click on the new packet. Immediately a drop down will come in. It will default, but we can also drop down to select a renewal if that's the packet we need to process. So for the first step, I'm going to do a move-in packet. So if we look below, these are all the documents that have been configured for your community. For this purpose, we're using Vista Asbury as an example. These are all the documents that you all have partnered with Joe Cluffer on to get your packets up to date and get the accurate forms in. If there's a case where you need to exclude an addendum, which I think is very rare, but if there's a case where you need to exclude an addendum, you can do that by simply unchecking one of those boxes, and then it will not, in this case, include a parking addendum. If you're leaving every document in there, it will auto-populate all of those to include, so we can just leave those. So for the purpose of this example, I'm going to go ahead and leave every document included in this packet. So once we have determined that everything's in there, we're going to go ahead and hit next. I always call this end scene. It's like a curtain going down. So you'll notice this will happen while you're using the system, and that's because document management and DocuSign are having a conversation during that time frame. So as we discussed in our informational video on what is document management and what is DocuSign, just to reiterate, the difference is that document management is the system we're all looking at right now. DocuSign is the third-party company that we utilize for the signing piece and for the legality and validity of the signatures. So what I love about the system is that because I double checked that both Julie and Captain Von Trapp's information were correct in our original screen, their information already filters into the fields for the signing. So the screen that we're looking at this point is who do we want signing this packet? So depending on your region, you either will have just an authorized manager or you will have a leasing agent and an authorized manager. For the purpose of this example, we're going to use the leasing agent. Her name's Jen Smith. She's a new team member. She's doing really great. Beautiful. And then for the purpose of the authorized manager, I'm going to go ahead and use myself. So all of you, just like I pulled up down here at the bottom, all of you will also pull up. You're able to actually click on that line item. And we're going to go end scene again while the two systems talk. And then it auto-populates in there. So if you happen to notice as you're double checking this screen that maybe an email is inaccurate, you can always go back into the guest card here because that's actually where we want you to change it. So for instance, if I needed to change Julie Andrews' email, I'm going to go into the guest card. This is actually where I'm going to update that email. Maybe it's Captain Von Trapp. So as a reminder, if you want to find your guarantors or co-residents in any case, you can go under and find Captain Von Trapp. This is where I would change his email if I needed to. If I updated anything, of course, we need to save the page. And then I'm going to go back into Doc Management. Perfect. So let me fill these two items back in here. But that's just good to see that we do want to update the guest card opposed to just this line item in the signer screen. All right, so the next item I want you all to just notice is over to the right here. There are numbers. These numbers are how these documents are going to go out. I know in a lot of cases, for those of you watching this particular instructional video, you don't have necessarily a co-resident always, so your primary resident would be in there. If there was a document that your guarantor is going to sign, we were able to map each person to a document. So the guarantor would get instruction that it's their turn to sign, but it would only indicate the one page or the couple pages that they need to sign. So for my example, I have, of course, a primary resident and a co-resident. You all can determine how you would like to set this order up. Our idea behind setting up both the signers as ones is that the documents are going to go to both of them at the same time. So the likelihood of us getting those documents back quicker is greater. You can always change the order to a 1, 2, 3, 4 so that it goes to the primary resident first and then a guarantor or a co-resident. We would change this number to a 2 here. You can do it that way. Either way, you're going to be able to see the steps to which the process is in. So you're going to see once Julie has received and read the lease, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see when it's sent to Captain Von Trapp, to Jen Smith, and to myself in that order. So on the home screen that we took a look at, that's where it's going to update the packet process and the step that it's in, and we'll take a look at that as we go. So ultimately, I'm going to leave that up to the managers how they want this order to go. Just ensure that it's consistent on every packet setup. To show you the bottom of this page, this is where our templated email will go. So that's the wording that's going to be in the email that your signers will receive. So it'll say, you know, welcome to Vista Asbury. We're excited for you to move in. Attached are your documents that you'll be signing with us. And you can add anything you want to in that email as well. So if you want a personalized message, you'll be able to edit this as well. But just know that a standard template will be auto-populated in there. So once I've selected all my signers, I've confirmed the order, I've confirmed the emails, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next screen. End scene. So now we're into a packet summary area of document management. It's going to show you every piece of the packet that you've set up. So it shows you all the documents. It does have a document order listed. It will show you all the signers. And then down here below, it's showing you all the information that's being pulled directly from MRI into document management. So all the grayed out boxes, of course, means it's auto-populated and you don't need to be entering any information. There may be cases at your communities where there's a red box like this one. This allows you to edit and type in there. So for the appropriate pieces for your communities, there will be red boxes where you would edit to enter any needed information. So I'm going to scroll all the way down so that you all can see. Once we've confirmed or added in any fields that are necessary, what we'll do to actually send. So make sure we're ready to send the packet at this point, because as soon as I select process, the steps will begin by going to Julie first and Captain Von Trapp for them to sign, and then they'll go to Jen and myself. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'm going to show you what that looks during each step. So just be patient with the system while it does that, because it's doing what it needs to gather all the necessary information and send it to the correct emails. All right. So now that we're in Julie Andrews' account, we can see that there is a packet out and in process, and we can see that it's sent to Captain Von Trapp and it says sent. So now it means that it's in their hands. So if I go back to my home screen and we want to see how that looks, let's go to our home screen. I can see that my Julie Andrews packet, of course, is in packets out for signature. And I can see that it's in my packets because I set it up and I'm also a signer attached to this packet. So now that we have these examples in here, I just want to talk you through what these icons are. So the little green person here, that's actually our signers. So if we were to go ahead and click on that, it shows us who's signing. It also shows the steps. So right now it's saying not delivered, but sometimes it takes the system a few minutes just to catch up each step. So you can always do a refresh or a close out and log back in when you want to see a refresh step. This icon shows a certificate. So this is a main piece of the documents that need to go in the lease packet. This is our proof of signature page. It's a certificate of completion. So let me open this up so that you can all become comfortable with what that looks like. I'm going to drag it over to my screen here. Whoop. Slippery little fella. So this is our certificate of completion. And I'm going to show this to you at the beginning, but I also want to show this to you at the end of the signing process that we do, because you're able to see each signature as well as an ID number associated with the signature. And really, this kind of helps us. We talked about it in the video about the system itself, but this helps us when somebody says, I didn't sign that, that's not my signature, because we're able to confirm we sent it to the correct email. We're able to confirm that they did sign it and when. So it's our proof of signature. So I'll scroll through this so you can all kind of get an idea of what this looks like originally. So we see all the signers listed. And as we continue going forward, this will get filled out in more detail. So I'm going to close that out for now. Our final icon is the blue document. So this is where you can view the documents that were sent to sign for your residents. So I can come in here and see all the documents that they will be signing, and in turn that we'll be signing at the end as well. So there's a consent to electronic signatures that they will sign, understanding that they're entering into an e-signature legal contract with us. And then they'll get into the lease itself. So ideally, we've checked to make sure that all the dates and the lease terms and the monetary information is all correct on the first couple pages before we've set up our packet. But this kind of gives you an at a glance of what documents are out there to sign for your residents. And of course, I won't scroll through them all, as you know your documents, but all right, so now I'm going to get into Julie and Captain Von Trapp's emails so that we can go through the signing process. So bear with me while I pull those emails up. Continuing. So I'm going to first pull up Captain Von Trapp's email, and this gives you an idea of what that email message will look like. Again, we're going to have a templated subject and templated email message. Starting over. So now I'm in Captain Von Trapp's email, and this gets you an idea of what the email message will entail. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have templated email messages and subject lines, so they'll be more customized, but at least you can give your residents a heads up as to they should be noticing that in their email. So if I go into this email, there's going to be a View Documents link. And this is going to show, so it shows a consent to electronic signatures. With this being said, it's good best practice to walk your new residents through what they're going to see first and then what they're going to see at the end of this process. So remind them that they're going to agree to do business electronically with us, which is the first consent here. It's a consumer disclosure. So make sure that the first thing they do, because a lot of times I think we're in a world where we're going so quickly, they're maybe not paying attention, they're just saying, I agree. So just ensure that they've read the consumer disclosure, which goes through, again, just that they're entering into an electronic signing process with us and they've accepted that this is a good option for them. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead to agree to do business electronically with Carmel, and then we're going to go ahead and review documents. Now keep in mind, they could decline or they can finish later. You will be notified if either of those happen. If you get decline, it'll show up in your home screen as a declined packet. So that gives us an opportunity to give them a call and see if there are any questions or concerns they may have. If they said finish later, it will show up that they viewed and have read. They viewed, the document. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and review my documents now. So in the setup of our packets, we've already tagged each signature line. So it's going to walk your residents through where they're going to need to sign for each document. So I'm going to go ahead and say sign here. When I click sign here, it's going to bring me into adopting my signature. So there's a series of styles they can choose from. So let's see here. I'm going to choose the second one here. So I'm going to go ahead and adopt and sign. So as you can see, it puts the signature. Now, you may be wondering, well, if that's not truly their signature, they didn't draw that in, how do we prove that it's them? It's this number right below the signature that means more to us than the actual writing. In this case, because of how the cosigner is set up, this is the document that I need to sign. So you can see to the right here, it would show any other documents would have a circle if it's a document that this person needs to sign. In this case, Captain Von Trapp only needs to sign this first item here. This is the second prompt that's important to give your residents. So once they've completed signing, it's going to actually ask Captain Von Trapp if he wants to go ahead and set up an account through DocuSign so that he can always gain access to his document. It would ask him to agree and then save his document. They can also download it to an email or print it from here also. So another step just to remind your residents that this is going to happen after they sign. All right. So I just want to show that now it's in Julie Andrews' email, so she can also go in and sign. Of course, I am playing both parts, so I'm going to go into hers in just a moment, but I do want to show you the home screen of our document management at this time so you can see what that looks like now that one signature has been completed. So now we see Julie Andrews and it says sent. So we know that it's waiting for her to take a look at. So let's say I get in here and I decide, oops, I can't sign this right now. I just had an important meeting that I have to go through. I have a class that I have to get to, whatever the case is. So I say finish later. Now let's go back to that home screen. Let's see if I can do a refresh on that. Sometimes it can take up to 5 minutes to show this step. So I'm going to keep going at this point. But it should show that Julie actually did view her documents. So Julie is also going to be prompted to read the consumer disclosure and agree to do business electronically with us. Again, we can change the style here. Great. So in Julie's case, she has several more pages to go. We can see all the circles that show up on each page that she needs to sign. So that just gives you an at a glance to your right there. So I'm going to go ahead and select next page. It's going to take our residents to the top of each page, and we did that on purpose so that it's prompting them to actually read and take a look at these documents. So at this point, I'm scrolling through the document, and it's guiding me through each portion of where I need to initial. That is good for us to know that we are missing an initial on page 10. As you all have reviewed your documents, you've made sure that those are set up the way they need to be. In this case, because we don't have an indicated sign here, it will allow us to move forward. On your documents, it will have an initial there. Now I'm going into my addendums. And as I'm going through them, I'm singing, "The hills are alive with the sound of music." Just a little entertainment for you while I'm scrolling through these pages. Thank goodness for electronic signatures, otherwise I'd have a hand cramp at this point. That's a great example of me missing an initial, and it will not say confirm signature until you've initialed or signed everything you need to. So now that it says all required fields are complete, I can confirm signing. But that allows us not to have our residents miss any signature where needed. So again, I'm going to be prompted to set up an account through DocuSign to view my documents at any time, or I could download or print. So each person will be prompted with this. I would encourage you to let your residents know it's recommended that they do set up an account right at the end so that they always have access to that document. Wonderful. So let's go back to the home screen of our doc management. See if we hit refresh, if it'll show us. Great, so now we see it's been sent to Jen Smith. So Jen Smith is our next signer. So that's a great example of now we have one open, one waiting on Carmel, and we have a 2 recently completed in the back end of our document management. So now we know it's in Jen Smith's hands. So me as the leasing associate, I know I need to get in here and sign this document. So let me go into my email and I will be right back. All right, so as the leasing associate in this group of signers, it has now hit my email. So it hadn't done that until both Captain Von Trapp and Julie Andrews have signed. So now I'm able to go into this email, view my documents, and sign. Again, I know for some of you this step applies and for some of you it does not apply. So with the circles, it shows me where I'm going to need to be signing. So if I want to get there quicker, I can take a look at my packet to the right and go to the next document with a circle. And then it check marks it once it's been signed. I will confirm signing. It will prompt me to set up my own. For you all in the office, you do not need to set up DocuSign accounts because we have Document Manager where you're able to access a packet at any point. So let's again go back to this home screen just so we can visually see each step. So right now it says Jen Smith sent, but if I refresh my page, now it says Jen Smith viewed. And now it's been sent to me. So if you want to see these steps a little bit faster, you can always refresh the page as it can take upwards to 5 minutes, as I mentioned, for those steps to refresh on your home screen. So now I know it's in my own email. So I need to go in as the authorized manager and sign. So now that I've logged into my Outlook to retrieve the DocuSign reminder email to view my documents, I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, same idea with the consumer disclosure, and I'll review my documents. And again, as the authorized manager, you can look for those circles to know which pages you're needed on. So again, I'll scroll down, jump me to my next page where my signature is needed. Oops. I skipped one here. And I can confirm signing. And I have completed my packet. So if we get back into our home screen here, and I do my fancy refresh, it shows that I viewed the document. And if I refresh once more, now we have 3 recently completed. So as soon as the authorized manager signs the document, it's a completed packet. So now that we've gone through setting up a move-in packet, I'm going to walk through just a couple scenarios that could happen. So in the event, Julie needs to sign a revised addendum, not a whole packet, but just there's been an update to one addendum in the packet. Maybe she didn't have a pet and now she does, for those of you that applies. So I would go in and search for Julie again. Click on her name to pull up her profile account, her guest card. I would go into Document Management and I would create a new packet. This time, I'm going to exclude every document since we do not have a pet in this one. We'll use parking as an example. I would exclude every document except for parking, and then I would hit next. So again, it's going to pre-set up Julie and Captain Von Trapp. I would set up my leasing associate if applicable. Myself. I would go ahead and select next. Check my packet summary. In this case, we're looking at the parking addendum. And I would select process for the one document. So the two systems are talking again. So now that we have another packet to take a look at, I'm going to use that to demonstrate some additional icons, as well as talk about some different features that the system provides. So we've talked about the view signers, we've talked about the certificate of completion, and where we can view documents. The two additional icons that have shown up for this packet is a download documents icon here, in which we have a resident that maybe wants us to email their documents to them. We can go ahead and download those and attach them. We also have a resend documents icon here. That's great if we originally have the resident that declined the packet and we need to resend it out after we've answered any questions or concerns, or in the event we have Julie or Captain Von Trapp say, I did not get that email, we can resend the packet to them. The other item that's on this page is the little red X here, and that's considered our void icon. As we can see, for a completed packet, we do not have that option. So once a packet has been completed, we aren't able to void it. When it's in process, however, and we need to change something on that document, we can void it. There will be a reason. So I'm going to say need to change pet information. Oh, in this case for parking. Sorry about that. So parking information. We're going to say yes to void the packet. And we will need to let Julie and Captain Von Trapp know that that's happened. Now that I've walked through those steps, I have voided my packet. The last scenario I want to walk through is setting up a renewal packet. In this particular case, I won't go through the signing piece as we've done that with the move-in, and that will look identical. But I do want to demonstrate setting up that renewal packet and what that will look like. I'm going to use my good friends Julie and Captain Von Trapp again. I will go into my document management. I'm going into a new packet. And just to show you on this page too, we can see this voided packet in Julie's profile at this point. Now, instead of selecting a move-in, I'm going to go ahead and select a renewal packet. All the documents that have been set up by you all and reviewed by you all will show up under your renewal packet, and we'll walk through the same steps. So this is a good refresher from the move-in. So at this point, now that I've determined every document is in my packet, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and enter my signers. Once I've done that, I can customize my email below here. I'm going to go ahead and go next. So here's the packet summary page. I can review anything I need to or add in fields that may be necessary. And once I've confirmed my packet's ready, I will process. So just like I said in the video, we need a "that was easy" button. This process should be so painless, so stress-free for both you and your residents. And I'm so excited that we get to roll this out to you all. Please let me or the regional project and performance team member that supports your region know if you have any questions. And I hope you all have a great day.